Welcome to the podcast for the recently released. I'm your host, Louis Stardust.
And I'm your co-host, Joe Matissa.
And today we got some stuff to be talking about. This is like day 500 in quarantine.
Yeah,
Losing
quite
our
a few
damn
things
mind.
to talk about today. We
Yeah.
kind of tried to piece together as much as we could because there's not a lot of material lately. But we're going to go into a few things. We got a movie, 2 TV shows, a couple video games, things like that. Okay, so we're going to be getting into a movie called 1BR, 2019 horror film. We're going to be getting into the show Stargirl, which is now 2 episodes in. New show on DC Universe and I believe CW. Then we're going to get into the Valhalla Murders on Netflix. And then after that, I'm going to discuss a couple games on the Apple Arcade and just the regular iTunes Store.
All right, well, first off, do you want to go right into the movie, I guess?
Yeah, you want to go to 1BR first?
Yeah, so one
No
bedroom,
problem.
technically, is the term. It's all about a girl who moves to a new apartment. Do you have the synopsis?
Yeah, here's the basic summary for it. It's new to Los Angeles. A woman moves into a seemingly perfect apartment complex and soon finds out that there are consequences for breaking the rules. I mean, that sounds
It's
kind of simple, but when you watch it, it's obviously
when you
a
watch
lot more.
the trailer, I feel like you kind of know what it's going to be going into it.
Yeah.
Like, it seems like it's either going to be very cultish or very, like, witchcrafty or something. Like, there's some kind of, like, spell thing.
Like either paranormal stuff or a straight up cult.
Yeah.
One or the other when you watch the trailer.
Immediately you get that. I think the premise of it is something that would very much happen to some degree.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, not fully, but it's a believable premise for something that's like a real life horror.
Yeah, there's some things that obviously with cults and stuff with modern day and being in a populated area, it's harder to believe, but there's a lot of stuff that's totally reasonable.
I think we were recruited into a cult today, too, on our Instagram.
Oh, yeah, that was interesting. Yeah, somebody was trying to recruit us or something.
Yeah, dude, it's like the theme of cults are so interesting to me because it's like, it's a real life horror. It's the same thing as serial killers, but different because it's like a whole, like, excuse me, brainwashing, like, really fucking with somebody mentally. It's just a lot. I'm getting off topic, but it's a good concept. You know, the girl has basically nothing. She moves to LA for work. She has no family. Her mom died. She's kind of...
She has the family. The mom died, but the dad she don't talk to.
Yeah,
right?
but that's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
She has no family connections to where she is. She has no friends. Her mom died. Her dad did something to her, which gets revealed later on, to the mother. So she is very, like, not about her dad, and it's just her isolated in this place. So she finds the perfect apartment. Spoilers, because there's not really much else we could say without it, I feel like.
Yeah, I mean, we'll have to get into at least a little bit of what goes on in the movie, which is a little spoilery, but oh well, you know, there's no way to get into it without
if you want to watch it without it, it's a pretty good, a rating I would give it is maybe like a 7.5.
If you want to just skip over this part and not do the spoil. I mean, we spoil stuff all the time, so really
I know, but I just like to give a brief thing before it, so if you're like, oh, I don't want to hear this, but I want to hear about Stargirl, you could do that.
Yeah.
So, 7.5 for me.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay.
I'd say about a 7.
Now you're in the spoiler zone. Spoilers. Can you make some graphics? Like, no?
What, for you to do this? I can, I'll try. I'm not the best videographer here, but...
Okay. Well, this bitch gets herself involved with a cult. Surprise to no one. It's a very, like, picture-perfect-esque, like, cul-de-sac looking kind of place.
Yeah.
And the first guy she meets, he's, like, the super hot neighbor, and she's super into him at first because she's like, wow, I'll have a hot neighbor. And I was like, he's gonna fuck her over. And they make it like this one guy. What's his name with the eye patch? Winston, Isaac.
Winston, Isaac?
Is it Isaac?
No. I'm
Ingram.
trying to think of...
I think it's Isaac.
Is it Isaac?
And he's got one eye. Isaac.
Maybe, yeah. And then
know.
there's... Well, because the attractive guy, he's...
Brad.
He plays Brad. He's played by Giles Mathey.
Wait, is his name really Brad?
No, he's played by Giles Mathey.
No, I meant...
But his character's name, I believe, is something like that.
They don't
But
even have names.
I'm not super... Well, they don't really go into many of the characters in it at all. There's only a couple people that they might give you a name for, but it's mostly because of the fact that it is a cult and everybody is just part of the group.
Brian, not Brad.
Okay.
I called him Brad because he just seems like a Brad.
One thing about this cult, though, it's not the type of cult that you, like, get talked into.
No.
This is a cult that gets you to join by force. You don't really have a choice. I guess your ultimatum is not living or torture.
I said Isaac with his eyeballs. His name was Lester. Bless you. So his name was Lester.
Oh, yeah, because I was calling him Lester the Molester the whole time.
Well, because they
forgot about
so
that.
you see this super hot guy, Brian, that's, like, welcoming you and you feel safe. And then you see this, like, super creepy dude, Lester, with a fucking eye patch who's lurking in the shadows and tries to give you a fucking book. And you're like, well, this guy's a fucking weirdo.
Yeah, like a self-help book.
Right away, I was like, he's going to be the good guy. He's going to know what the fuck is up. Bless you. Oh, my goodness. He's so sneezy.
Oh, it's not on myself.
Ew. It's allergy season, babe. It's all right.
Fucking all over the place.
But I think it was, like, clear right away that something wasn't right with the neighborhood. And so the first thing that, like, really got us into it, and the trailer kind of gives a lot of stuff away, but it was her cat. There was a note saying that there was a no pet policy.
Yeah.
In the
they showed it in the trailer.
That's what I'm saying.
They show that in the trailer.
And like a few minutes later, she goes to her oven, and there's her cat is in the oven.
Yeah, I do feel like they reveal a little too much in the trailer because some of the peak points of it, I mean, granted, they do not show you how she gets put into the cult.
Yeah.
So that's the cool thing about it when you get to watch it. But in the trailer, a lot of the things that are like,
what's gonna
big things that happen, that's mainly in the like whatever third act or whatever.
They
so
show
it's
some
like
shadows and stuff too, so you don't get the full gist of it, but you're like, you kind of know where it's gonna go.
Yeah, you get it.
One of the craziest things was like they were trying to test her endurance or whatever, so she was putting her hands on the wall, and this is like a foreshadowing thing you see earlier where it's spackled over a lot on the apartment, and you're like, why is there so much spackle there?
Somebody probably punched a hole in the wall or broke a hole in it.
And I asked you, and you're like, oh, it's probably because her hands are so, like, moist or something. It's causing, like, the patterns. And then, like, 2 minutes later, her fucking... She can't hold onto the wall after doing it for so many hours and days on end.
Oh, yeah.
She falls over, and they, like, crucify her to the fucking wall.
Oh, yeah, they hit her with the Holy Spirit. Like, nailed right through the hand, crucifixion.
And it's, like, kind of graphic, but it's also really cheesy. Like, the blood splatter was kind of cheesy looking, and, like...
Yeah, they use some practical effects, too, which is good, because I like practical effects. They're kind of fun.
It just seems a little bit more, like, low budget, which is fine. We enjoy that. And, like, obviously, the charming neighbor that she thought was super hot was, like, the co-chairman of, like, the group.
Yeah, he was definitely, like, co-crazy.
Yeah.
You know?
So, I mean, it was just interesting, like, the process of them getting into the cult. You see that there's security cameras everywhere. Now, something that was brought up is that one person on there is a doctor. The other person is, like, they all have different personality types that fit where it needs to be. You said early on, you were like, how do they keep getting money to survive? Because they all just stay in the cult. They don't go to work. They live there.
They did show a select amount of people that were going out and coming back in.
Yeah.
But that's not enough to fund anything as far as I'm concerned.
Well, also,
but they do rob the person.
Yeah.
When they kidnap you, they take everything. And they're like, you're just in this cult now, you're here, and we control everything you had.
They clear out your bank accounts. They take all of your stuff. They have a buzzer to the front door, so you can't leave unless you're, like, selected to go out. Yeah. So it's very, like... There's no way to get out unless you get that buzzer or you escape the room.
Yeah, which is my main gripe with it, because obviously in Los Angeles, it's a populated area, big city, a lot of people in that area, in that apartment complex are lower to lower middle class, you know, so resources are finite. If you were to take all their accounts, how long does that last? How often do you have to keep recruiting more people to rob them?
Well, because the one thing is there's an older lady and she's sick, and they're like, well, she's not helpful to the community anymore, so we have to kill her.
Yeah.
I thought the doctor was going to come out with a little syringe or something. No. They take a plastic bag, they put it over her face,
and then just pump it full of gas.
I was like...
Yeah.
Like... So it's apparent that she has nothing to offer the community anymore, and that's how they kill them. And it's so interesting to me that it's so dark at that moment. That's why there was things I liked about this movie.
Yeah, it was pretty wild at that point.
There's one lady with short hair wanted to beat her ass the entire time. Big mouth.
Yeah. She was, I guess, the wife of the guy who is the so-called leader of the group or whatever.
I have no idea.
Yeah.
She got upset when he was killed, but I had no idea.
Yeah, that's why. But one thing you notice in this is at a point they have cameras that they're watching everybody. But then at one point the lady looks over and sees that there's a camera up in the corner. Mm-hmm. And she's like, well, who watches us? And right away, the guy got real weird about it. So obviously, there's a big grand scheme, and we're not going to talk too much about the spoilers for the end, but there's a lot more grand scheme stuff going on.
I wish there was a lot more, because it felt like they spent a good chunk of the movie showing the process of how she got into the cult. All right, every day we're going to do a lie detector test, and we're going to quiz you more and more, and we're going to do this stuff. So the movie revolved more about that rather than who the actual cult leaders were, how they got involved. Like, there wasn't much like that. You do see kids at one point, like young children who are in school there that like Lester's teaching them, and they watch videos on like the OG cult leader that wrote the book and stuff, and he's instructing them on like the core values that they have and whatever else, and you're kind of like, well, this is fucked up.
Like indoctrinating them basically.
Yeah, so it's just, that is interesting, but I feel like there was so much of that and not enough of her like fighting back, not enough of her, you know.
Oh yeah, by the end of it, I was starting to get furious. I was like, yo, she needs to do something quick or I'm going to lose it.
She had to be complacent and like act like she was becoming part of the cult.
Build up to it.
I like that she did that more instead of panicking all the time and trying to be like, well, I'm not joining. Because her friend, at one point, also gets into the cult.
Yeah.
And she's just a maniac, and she's like not giving up, which is fine. But I like that they showed those sides. I just wish there was more of her getting like actual revenge and doing stuff.
Yeah.
I love Lester.
Lester, yeah, he turned out to be alright.
Lester is obviously, like I said, a better guy than we thought. And there's a point where they try to pair them together. They're like, you're going to be Lester's new wife.
Yeah, because his wife passed away or something. Yeah. And she was like, oh, it's like that. Like,
yeah.
Oh.
And he looks super creepy. He's like trying to get her to go into the bedroom and shit. But later she finds out he like got all of her sewing machines and like, because she wants to be a designer. So he kept all of her items and made like a separate area next to the bedroom for her to do her stuff. So like he's like, I can't get out. We're not going to get out. We have to make the best life here. And he's very like, I know this is a cult. I'm not brainwashed, but I have to survive here because it's all I have, kind of thing. So it's very interesting, I think, but I would have liked more like, you know, I Spit on Your Grave type of shit where she's just...
Yeah, well, it's an hour and a half movie. It's not a long movie. It's all like mostly a lot of not big cast people,
no,
like not like anybody I noticed. I didn't really recognize anyone, but it was good.
Yeah.
Pretty decent.
Like I said, 7.5 is fine for me. Yeah, I would definitely recommend it to somebody if they're like, I need something to watch. But
yeah, it's not like super spectacular, but it's pretty decent for a lot of stuff. And we haven't really watched anything too culty lately, I feel like. Although cult stuff seems to be on the rise, you know, with the...
It does.
What is that, Midsommar and the...
I want to watch
what was it, the Get Out and all these different like cult-ish type deals, you know?
The Lodge.
The Lodge, yeah.
I just watched that. I want to watch Midsommar. I was going to play that in the shop one day, but I heard there's a lot of like rape scenarios and like just weird things, and I was like, I don't think we can play this in the shop.
Maybe not to play at work. Maybe watch it at home.
So I really... It's on Amazon too, for free, so if you got that.
Yeah, we were going to buy it, so there's that. All right, so we'll go on to the next thing from here, which was... The thing is we got 2 TV shows. One is one that we started watching, and one is one that I finished. You didn't quite finish, I feel like. It just was... It was slow. And we're big on the foreign dubbed shows that Netflix has been bringing, but one thing I forget, that if it's too realistic, it is super soft core compared to American television, especially when it comes to law enforcement. Their law enforcement in these are like stressing and depressed for 2-3 episodes about using a knife and potentially having to use a gun. And I'm like, you need to watch Cops.
Yeah.
Like, this is soft core.
Well, because when you think about the gun laws and rights in America, it's so different.
Yeah, and that's in the Valhalla Murders, right? Mm-hmm. Now, the Valhalla Murders, the whole basic thing for that, it's an Oslo detective with a painful past returns to his native Iceland to help a police officer hunt for a serial killer with a link to a mysterious photograph. Which sounds really vague. Like, it's this lady, she's a cop, and basically what happens is people start getting murdered, and it's like kind of gruesome. Their eyes are all cut up and stuff like that. They're trying to figure out who did it. They bring a cop that used to live in the area back, and he kind of doesn't want to go back because he's got past there. But he goes back and he starts trying to help solve the case, and it's basically this school out in Valhalla. It's a boys' school that's been closed for a long time, and it's been coming out lately that there's a lot of abuse of the children, missing children, the whole nine from the time period, and stuff was never solved, but a lot of people are coming out about being like tortured and abused. So they're thinking it ties to potential stuff from back then with the modern killer. Like maybe the killer's going after people who were victimizing them. Maybe they're going after people who were the kids who were victimized. It's kind of hard to get a grasp at first until it all starts piecing together. It's really slow. It doesn't pick up for 6 episodes.
Well, the first episode was great. I was like, okay, cool. Like, right away, there's a murder. It tells you the story of how it's going to go. You know, you have this cop who's a mom, but she's also pissed off because she doesn't get, you know, a raise
like
in
they
her
gave
job.
Some other girl a raise and like she didn't deserve it.
So you get the gist of the story. The second cop who comes to the town is pretty cool.
Yeah.
You get the tech guy who's like super fucking, I don't know, like tech wizard, really good at stuff. So you have the crew and the story. It sounds good. I actually think it's based on a similar story that happened in Iceland to some degree.
Maybe, yeah.
I was reading something on it. It's like obviously it's not that specific thing, but there's a story with the orphanage, I guess it is, or the house that they were in, that's very similar that it's kind of based on, they were saying, from Iceland.
Okay.
But it's just so slow and so, like, it feels anticlimactic. Like, I can't talk, anticlimactic.
Yeah.
For the storyline it was given.
Well, because it's not like when we watch a crime mystery in a small town for an American show where things are really intense. There's a lot more violence. You know, when people are getting murdered and stuff, it's a lot more intense when they do have a conflict with that person, mostly because, like, there's shooting or
but
whatever.
But the gun thing, it's also the physical contact isn't even there.
The physical contact isn't there.
Yeah.
The way they handle any kind of situation is so passive and so mellow that it really, like, drags you down at points. Like, and they finally start to pick up towards the end, but I mean, like, the biggest thing that happens in this is, like, the guy's about to get potentially stabbed by another guy, and the girl's out there freaking out in the parking lot trying to get the access code to her car to get permission to use a gun. And then she goes and panics. The guy, like, kills the person, and then she runs, panics again, like, gets caught off guard, gets attacked, and then the guy kills himself with her own gun. And she's, like, depressed the rest of the thing. And I'm like, that would never happen with any experienced law enforcement, like, that they claim to be there here, if there was that scenario. That is night and day. Like, it was super mellow, and they were really depressed, and it was a real driving force behind the emotion of the show, so it's very unrelatable to our culture. Especially, like, if you walk out here at night.
It's interesting to watch it, I think, because of that, but at the same time, it's like, bro, I just want the damn story.
Yeah, like, we don't need 2 episodes about how upset she is about, like, should I have used my gun, or that person had a knife, or whatever. I'm like, this is, like...
The murderer was, like, somebody from the Valhalla thing, and then he killed himself, that's what you're saying?
No, one of the guys, this is kind of a random spoiler, but one of the guys whose kid was abducted went crazy and found out that somebody might be a killer, went after him, and attacked him, and they managed to find the guy. They thought he was the killer, or think he's the killer, or whatever, and basically an altercation happened there. But really, there's not a lot of peak stuff that happens till the very end. It's about, 8 or 9 episodes, I believe?
I think it's
8 episodes. But like I said, 6 episodes drag. The first episode's all right, like she said. The, 2 through 5 or 6 are dead. And then after that, it picks right back up, and it's decent. It's not anything to write home about. If you like some crime mystery but more drama related, this is definitely what to go for. This definitely threw us off guard. We thought it was more than it was.
I thought it was going to be very good because I like all the foreign shows. I like true crime. I like stuff like this. I don't know. It was so hard to get into. I don't even care about the ending. Like,
yeah, I wish it was a little more, I guess, unrealistic for that area. Because I've been to Oslo, and, like, the most entertaining thing in Oslo is the airport. Like, there ain't nothing going on. And you see every time they got to go drive somewhere, they're just driving an empty snow area. Nothing's happening. No one's around. Every car must be amazing because they drive in thick snow 24/7. I don't understand that. Very impressive.
Sorry, I felt like I was eating a rock.
What?
I don't know. There was something in the pizza that was super crunchy.
Oh, yeah, it must have got stuck in your teeth or something.
Yeah, and it was cracking, and I thought it broke my tooth. But other news about the show. What was the whole plot with, like, her son filming, like, a...
There was another instance to add more drama and more conflict, to also add to... Because with how mellow it is and how light the amount of activity is, for it to drag for 8 episodes on just that, with just her and the other cop, really isn't enough. They need more conflict, and they need something to be able to make them fatigued enough to make a mistake. And that's where they brought that part of the story in. That's where they said, okay... There's going to be a girl at a party in a high school. She's going to get assaulted, and the police officer's kid might be involved, and that's going to throw her off mentally, and it's not going to put her in the right mindset, and she's going to make a mistake.
Yeah.
And that's exactly why they did it, and
yeah,
to add a little bit more. It just wasn't worth it. I'd
rather deal with the drama
right out
with the fucking lady who took her job. Like,
yeah,
that's what I'd rather see.
it fizzled right out, and it kind of added to the excuse for why she messed up, and made mistakes, but wasn't enough for me. I'm going to give this show like a solid 6.
Yeah,
the parts I liked, I did like.
It's a beautiful show. It's filmed good. The characters seem great. I would give it like a 5 or 6 for sure.
Actors are good.
I have no interest in the way that the story went.
Yeah.
It's
dubbed, but like all the acting seemed good. Everything was filmed good and all that.
Yeah.
It wasn't like the fight stuff and the gore when it did happen seemed realistic. It seemed cool, but. Dead. Slow movie.
On a positive note, let's talk about Stargirl.
Yeah, I'm really surprised about Stargirl. Stargirl just came out on the DC Universe, and I guess it also came out on CW, but we don't really mess with CW like that.
Well, it comes out on, what is it, Monday there, and the next day it goes on CW. That's what it does.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, they're 2 episodes in, so we got lucky enough to watch 2 of them before we could talk about it. What do you think about Stargirl, honestly?
I love it. Okay, so my thing was, as soon as I heard it was going to CW, I panicked, because I was like, everything starts good on CW, and then it just goes fucking crazy. Like, Riverdale Season 1, great. Everything else, I apologize to anybody who has watched it because of me. I cannot say I am responsible for anything that has happened on that show. Yeah. You know what I mean? So for, like, this to be on CW, I'm like, alright, I'm a little bit concerned.
It makes me nervous, yeah.
Well, especially because all the DC shows on there start off good, and like
I watched the first few seasons of Arrow and then Flash and whatever. And
I watched Arrow too, and then after that, it was just him half naked all the time.
But then after that, I didn't get into Legends of Tomorrow. I didn't get into Supergirl. No. I definitely didn't get into Batwoman.
No. So what I'm saying is like there was a good amount of shows there. I don't know what's happening anymore. But I really like this. And DC doesn't disappoint on their network. No. However, I know they're switching over to like HBO or something in the future.
HBO Max, yeah.
So I don't know. I mean, HBO's good. It's got a high production quality.
Yeah, and they just announced they're doing the Snyder Cut through HBO Max.
Yeah.
Which is a godsend for people like me that are big fans of the DC movie universe.
I don't care. If it happens, cool.
Well, I'm tired of Marvel's cookie cutter stuff. We've watched over 20 Marvel movies. I want the DC side that they try to push. It would be so good if it was as dark as...
put stuff that isn't just Batman out. That would be really cool.
Yeah, that's true. I did like Shazam. That was more lighthearted from DC, but I liked it.
It feels like a Marvel movie for sure in comparison to the other stuff. But
it was decent.
You could just give me dark, like DC stuff. I go to DC for the dark stories. You know what I mean? And like we're getting into this, we talk about this all the time, but all the animated stuff is so good. Why can't you just do something that is that good?
No, of course not.
That's it.
Yeah.
I'm getting off topic. Stargirl, very good. I love the Wilsons, all right? All the Wilson brothers, they're great. To see him in this, I think he's fantastic.
Yeah.
What's his name, Chet?
What? Luke Wilson, right?
Rain? That's the one from The Office.
It's crazy. They don't even list him until, like, the 15th person.
He's like the main character.
He's the main, like, he plays Pat Dugan, which is the stepfather of Courtney Whitmore, who's the main star, who's Stargirl.
But he's her sidekick.
I don't care if he's a sidekick. He's the driving force
of the show. But I'm saying
he's
still the main character. Like, it's the two of them. He's the main
guy,
The two of them are the main characters. I will say the casting's great. The mom is good. The little brother is a little shit. I love him. I think it's perfect.
Yeah, and it's basically like, they're moving into this town because the mom just got together with this guy, Pat. And basically, she stumbles across some stuff in the basement, finds out he's holding a big secret, finds this little staff.
Most of Courtney does, not the mom.
Courtney does, not the mom, sorry. And then basically, she starts getting a little mischievous. Now, I don't really like her character. You know, I like her. She's enjoyable, kind of, but like I do not like the kid, teenage, angsty.
Okay.
Like I deserve everything mentality. Everybody sucks.
But you don't have kids.
I know.
Okay, and you were never a teenage girl. So I understand that.
Yeah.
I understand, being upset because your dad's not around and you feel like he's getting replaced by a guy. Then you feel like, okay, I have to move somewhere that I have no idea where it is. I got a new brother. My mom's in love with this dude who I don't care about.
Yeah.
I'm losing everything to go somewhere else. So, like, she has every right to be kind of angsty at some point.
Yeah, but it makes me question the morality of the story because it's like the staff chooses someone but didn't choose one of the most pure of heart people they introduce in the show, which is Pat.
But
I mean, that guy is like an angel basically.
Yeah, he's a freaking angel.
Like
right
nice
now
guy.
she's just being a little shit because of what's happening, but I do think she's gonna have her redemption moment where she obviously has a good heart. You see how she acts with her mom when she talks about Pat and stuff.
Yeah, she has a couple redeeming moments,
but
it definitely is hard for me to get used to the teen thing.
Yeah, but again, you've never been a 15-year-old girl, so like I don't think you'll entirely get it because it's completely
That's what you
different.
think.
But I think it's just a really fun story. I like the characters, like I said. I like the villains that we've seen so far.
Yeah, they gave a preview of the Injustice Society and how the Injustice Society killed the Justice Society and killed Starman and that whole introduction. And then, they slowly start to unpeel it a little bit. We're only 2 episodes in, so they haven't even gotten into the rest of the new Justice Society.
No, and I like that they go into the basement. The staff is there, of course, but like all the files are there. Everything that Pat has saved from his adventures.
They do a couple, like, overly ridiculous. Like, Pat just goes down there, opens the thing, is like, here's a folder. Looks at it in the light, lets you read the name, opens it, closes it, grabs the next one, does it. And I'm like, what are you doing, dude? Like, he knows why he's there. He doesn't need to go down, look at something, and be like, clarify the spelling on that. Cool. Put it down and walk away.
Yeah, but
they do it to show you what he's there for.
Also, he says, like, I didn't know this was going to be going on and I moved to this town. So,
yeah, I think he's lying.
I think he's lying too, but also he looks so innocent, so, like, I don't know if he's lying.
I think that he had suspected that there was something there and
went
there to visit, and that's how he met her and, or whatever, when he was traveling around. And just happened to go back to that.
But it's not like he knew she was going to pick up the staff or anything. Like, he just went there to go work on his robot and do these things because he's acting like he doesn't know what's going on. But then, again, he has his case files out. He has the robot. You know what I mean? So...
Yeah, and he basically has all these, like, boxes of car parts, and he puts together the robot. And the robot Stripe is really cool.
It's like the Iron Giant.
Yeah, it's really fun.
It's very cool.
I like his little thing. And she makes her costume by the 2nd episode, so you get to see the costume. In the beginning, when she first gets the staff and goes out, she's like, oh, I got this staff. I can do mad gymnastics. Let me do mad flips and stuff
she's a
with the
gymnast.
Staff. Yeah. But, like, by the 2nd episode, she's like, I'm going to go up to the roof of my house. I'm going to run and do a diving backflip off of my roof like it's nothing, and the staff will land under my feet. I trust it.
But the staff doesn't give her, like, any physical abilities or anything,
Yeah,
right?
so I'm thinking to myself... Okay, I don't know anybody who could jump onto a speeding tightrope.
Yeah, it's like a tightrope.
Right?
Unless
it's not
your
like
shoes
it frictions
are like
to her
magnetic
feet,
and it just connects
Yeah,
you that
so
way.
that's what cracked me up, because if you jump on a staff and the staff's going to fly, it's just going to go, and your feet are going to be like, oh, okay. So it's funny.
There's like little buckles and you just
or like it straps her in like a surfboard kind of deal. Yeah, that would be funny. I do like that they're trying to do it where the staff has personality.
I do like that
it has
too,
a character and it kind of moves a little bit and reacts to things.
It definitely has personality.
That's you can see it almost as like she can understand the staff. Like how some people can, like how somebody can understand Scooby-Doo or something, right?
Yeah. Well, Scooby-Doo is actually like, Raggy, whoa.
Oh yeah, that's right. He does kind of.
Yeah,
talk, so.
she has like a conversation with it, and you're like, okay.
Kenny then from South Park.
Okay.
Very much like that, like.
Sure. Kind of like that. But so far so good. We'll keep giving you updates every week as we watch new episodes. I really like it. I think it's promising. I think the dialogue's good. The characters are good. The villains seem interesting. Of course, she's a kid in high school. Not the fucking brightest. Like, during the first fight, she leaves her high school ID there, so he finds her.
Oh, yeah. It's all the typical, like, she's going to get caught right away.
Literally, episode 2, she gets caught.
I'm glad they do that. Because if they didn't, and the main baddie that they show in the beginning just like stumbled upon it and was helpless, you would think that it doesn't make sense for the person that damn near killed the Injustice Society.
The second episode, they're at like a school parent-teacher event, and they're looking for Brainwave because they're like, he has to be in this town. Maybe he's here. The only difference is he has glasses. And he's just walking around this like lab coat looking fucking outfit.
Which cracks me up because anybody who knew history and saw the news articles with the Injustice Society and the Justice Society, you would think like, oh, I know that guy's face. But it's the Superman thing. Glasses are on. He Clark Kent's it, and no one knows.
That is the only good thing about the Green Lantern movie, is when he goes into, like, the chick's window, and then he goes to, like, try to be, like, a superhero, and she's like, you're just wearing a mask, dude. Like, I know it's you. That's the only thing that came out of that movie that was good. And I think everybody's a fucking idiot when that happens.
Yeah, it always cracks me up. But that's just the way the hokey comic book stuff goes.
Yeah.
You know? So far, I'm going to give, like, the first 2 episodes a solid 8 out of 10. They were really fun.
I think that's a perfect rating.
But, like a lot of CW-related stuff, this could fizzle out. I'm excited for where it's going, though, and I really want to get to see more of the Injustice Society characters. And they're hinting that a lot of the parents of children in the show are villains, or that a lot of the parents of the kids on the show were heroes, vice versa.
It'll be cool.
Yeah, so that's really neat.
One thing I want to say is, I don't know if we talked about this last week, that we finished Swamp Thing. Did we talk about this?
I don't know if we mentioned it, but we did finish Swamp Thing. We did go back and watch it because...
We stopped watching it.
Well, there is a chance that they got the rights to it with HBO Max, that they could reboot it and go for the second season. I mean, it's a shame because nobody wanted to talk about Swamp Thing because right away before the show aired, it had already been noted that it was canceled for a second season.
They fucked up by doing that. They should have just waited.
They shouldn't have said a word about it and said, you gotta watch this show. And because... Swamp Thing was great. The show is so good.
We watched like 4 episodes and then we're like, I don't even want to watch anymore because we're so into it, and like if there's nothing to come from this. And then we heard the news and we said, okay, maybe we'll just give it a quick shot. And the ending was great.
Yeah, a lot of fun.
Very good. Very, very good makeup and special effects.
And it's really good. Like, there's a lot of CG, but Swamp Thing himself is all just straight up prosthetics and costumes and everything. They add the CG. I know, and it's really good. So like all the practical effects they do in this show and everything is so much fun. Like when eventually they're doing an autopsy of Swamp Thing.
Very cool.
Seeing the parts being taken in the plant-like organs and oh man, it's really neat.
All the villains are great in that. Everything's good.
Yeah, and the villains, everything is so more like dark and paranormal and not like super hokey in comparison. Like they do have the one character that's the blue demon that's kind of hokey, but
I love it.
But it's like backed with like some very like Constantine-esque paranormal shit.
Yes, very Constantine-esque. Yes.
So like it's really good, and oh man, it's just a shame because
this is why I get mad at people when they get like shitty about the DC like universe stuff. Because,
they got a lot of potential.
Well, everybody was getting shitty when Titans came out, and Titans was so fucking good. And they have, I don't know who's writing their stuff, whatever it is. It's all been very good.
Yeah.
I have nothing, like, no complaints about anything that has come out from them.
And they're pushing damn near movie-style production.
Yes.
That's the one blessing about this Stargirl thing. Stargirl Episode 1, shot for shot,
looks like a movie.
is 10 times anything the CW has ever put out.
For sure.
It looks spectacular.
It looks very good.
But that's how long that's going to last. I mean, they showed Solomon Grundy as a full, giant CGI zombie. That's amazing. You know what the CW Solomon Grundy looked like?
I have a question.
Yeah.
So because the CW is taking just Stargirl, does that mean everything else is going to HBO Max, or do we know yet? Like, what's going to happen? Is it Doom Patrol? Is it...
I don't think it's going to be all DC Universe stuff will, but I don't think any of the CW stuff will.
Well, that's the only thing that's on CW now, is what I'm saying.
Yeah. What is
I'm saying Stargirl will not be going to HBO because it's going to the CW. Makes sense because it's more of a kids style show.
See, I thought that was going over to HBO Max as well.
I don't know. I haven't heard that. But I'm saying if the CW has the rights to the show to air it on television, why would it go from CW 1 year and then go to HBO when it makes sense? I think HBO is more catered to adult.
I think they did that on purpose because of the fact that they knew they were doing the transition to HBO Max and they didn't have enough to offer on DC Universe.
No idea. If somebody knows, please let us know. But in my opinion, I think Stargirl is a show that's more suited for the CW than it would be for HBO.
Yeah. Yeah, so, probably. I mean, like, when you think, like, HBO, you would think that, like, maybe, like, Amazon, The Boys, something like that would be on HBO.
Yeah, oh my god, I want that to come back.
Yeah, I mean, that would be spectacular. We do get Umbrella Academy Season 2 soon, so that'll be good.
I'm ready. I'm fucking ready. I want to see my boys. I want to see Ellen Page all in the white outfit she was wearing again.
Oh, man, I hate her character. I can't wait for anybody but her.
I'm very excited. What else do we got? Oh, you've been playing some games, right?
Yeah, I finally played a couple video games.
All right, let's hear it.
And I've been playing the Apple Arcade.
I think you talked about it a little
Yeah,
bit
I talked about it a little bit, and I mentioned Oceanhorn 2, Knights of the Lost Realm, it's called. Then I played another game called Spyder. All right? And these two Apple Arcade games are spectacular. Spyder's kind of a short game. It's like 6 missions. You're a little robotic spider with all these abilities, and you're a super spy, and you pilot this little thing in like a giant office or whatever world they're putting you in, and you gotta like solve puzzles and do all this stuff, and it's really cool. Like I said, it's a short game, but it's powered by the Unreal Engine, and it looks really good. It's a lot of fun, and a lot of the games they've been putting out on the phone and the iPad look awesome, and they play really well. I use my PlayStation controller.
What's the game you were playing that looks like it's like a Witcher?
Well, I'm going to get into that after this, because that's not on Apple Arcade. That's just a regular app.
That looks nice.
Yeah. One thing I like, though, about Apple Arcade is you're not paying for purchases in the games. You're not doing any of that. They release a game, like, every couple weeks or something, you know? And there's tons of games to choose from, but the one game, Oceanhorn 2, is basically Zelda.
It's basically Breath of the Wild.
It's so good.
Yeah.
It's Zelda. It's Breath of the Wild, but better. I didn't like Breath of the Wild, and this is...
I can't agree with that. I haven't played either, so
I mean, it's good.
That's your
plays
opinion.
spectacularly, and the worlds are good, and it's really big and expansive. There's actual dialogue. There's actual things happening. It's good. It's got all the dungeons, the puzzles, the little critters to fight, you know, all the typical things you would like in Zelda. You can do it all in Oceanhorn 2, and it's really enjoyable. Other than that, I have played a game called Pascal's Wager, and that's on the App Store. And, yo, that game, it's a straight up, it looks like a PS3 game. It's spectacular looking. It looks so good. And when you're playing it, you would think it's a full console game. It's a mix between The Witcher and Dark Souls.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's hard. You have to really, like, time all your attacks, your blocks to fight. It's all third person. It looks really good. It's everything's super dark. It's all like dark.
It looks like Witcher.
Religious, evil, crazy looking, right? There's a lot of characters that look similar to a mix between Witcher and like Bloodborne-ish, kind of, which also is in the Dark Souls realm. But like, you have a carriage that you travel and can fast travel to different parts of like these big maps, you know, and you obviously follow this really dark story, and you get to recruit different characters with different abilities, and the different characters are actually really good, and it's a full-blown like RPG style upgrading system for them. And you can, like, when you go to fast travel, you hop in the carriage and you can choose who's sitting next to you and then like bring them into the mission with you. So it's really good. It's a lot of fun, and if you're into stuff like that, then this is a game for like $6, and it's a full-blown game.
Yeah, no, it looks really good.
You could easily spend 20 plus hours on this game, no problem. Plug your PlayStation controller, your Xbox, or whatever, and just go to it. It's really good. I would give that one a solid, like, 8.5. I would give Oceanhorn a 9. Like, a straight up 9 out of 10. I think that game is really good. Spyder, I'm going to give a solid 7, because it needs to be a lot longer of a game. They just need to put out some updates. They do, which is great on Apple Arcade, because as the developers keep doing more to the games, they just keep throwing it in there for you. For nothing. Just is included in the updates.
Sounds just like Animal Crossing.
What?
Sounds just like Animal Crossing, because next week we get an update in Animal Crossing, and it's wedding season. You get to get the benches, all the wedding decor, all that good stuff.
Okay. Yeah, well, with playing these 3 games and literally beating 2 out of 3 already and almost finishing Pascal's Wager, I think I'm maybe less than a quarter of the amount of time, way less than, maybe an eighth of the amount of time you've played on Animal Crossing.
Oh, look right now.
Like, get ready for it, folks. She's about to blow your mind with the amount of hours that you would need to go mentally insane.
Because if you say it, you make it upset.
No.
What is it?
Tell me how many hours you've played.
Well, to be fair, some of it has just been my game open.
Let's see if it's World of Warcraft style hours.
Can you guess?
I'm going to say well over 300 hours. Getting close to 400.
I want to address a couple things. I play this when I'm streaming pretty often. And on Twitch, so if you like
or
Twitch...
breathing,
okay.
When she's breathing.
If you like Twitch stuff, I'm streaming at least 4 days a week now. It's just twitch.tv Lewis Stardust. I do some just chatting stuff. I do spooky games on Sunday. Play Animal Crossing. I would love to do like a live podcast episode or something on there. So make sure you check it out. So I do that. I host events, and I leave my game open from time to time when it's just open. I have 615 hours logged in Animal Crossing.
Oh!
Since March 20th.
Remind me to never admit that to the public.
Okay, well, it's
we already did it, but
I know.
No one else needs to know after this, because that's crazy. 600 hours. I mean, I get it. We're in quarantine.
If you do for 24 hours in a day, that's 25 days worth of gameplay, technically.
Yeah, and we've been... Okay, that's not too bad.
No, it came out on the end of March.
We've been out of work now for 3.5 months. So, okay. That's literally a third of the entire time.
Well, I play it every day, though. And I don't play it for, like, long periods of time, but like I said, sometimes my game's just open, sometimes I'm doing shit, so... But it makes sense.
Yeah. That's wild. I think between these 3 games, I'm probably, like, 50, 60 hours in. Like...
Well, it's just... The thing is, your games have ends. My game is just forever. There's no end to it.
Like The Simpsons Tapped Out was on the phone and stuff, like the SimCity type games.
But it's not like that. It's like you could decorate your town. You can get new villagers if you want. Every month there's a new update to the game. So like I said, next month is wedding season.
Elementary.
Yeah,
I think that game is...
I know you don't like it. I'm working on your island right now. I'm making a tattoo shop on Joe's island. For the game.
There's a game that's on the Apple Arcade that's got similar aspects to that. It's called Stranded Sails.
No.
But it has adventure aspects where you go and you can fight and find dungeons and stuff. Kind of Zelda mixed with Animal Crossing is what it seems like to me. No. I might try that to see if I can do a diet version of your game and tolerate it. But I don't think I can. I don't think I got it in me. I think I'm just going to have to stick with my ridiculously obscene adventure games.
I'm just saying Animal Crossing has been good for me social distance wise because at least I can like hang out with my friends in a way that feels like we're kind of doing stuff in the game. So I enjoy that. Yeah,
well, we're also going to start doing, we're going to just write to pen pals. You know, we're going to do a lot of that.
With the Postal Service.
Yeah, with the Postal Service. The Postal Service is the best place in the world. So much fun. Best service. You guys should check it out.
Yeah, well, they're facing a lot of
shit right
now. It's just rough all over.
Yeah, but as far as video games, there's not a lot of new stuff out right now, and we're waiting for, like, a couple new releases. I know I'm waiting to try The Last of Us 2 when that comes out.
Oh, I played Man of Medan. I finished that.
You finished Man of Medan?
Yeah, we were talking about playing it. You said you
Ladies and gents, Man of Medan.
Yeah, I went and I played it on Twitch, and we played like maybe how much did we play? Like an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours.
I didn't like it at all.
But what did we play? I want to know.
Yeah, probably 2 hours.
But, okay, so then I streamed another less than 2 hours on Twitch, and the game was done. Like it's a short game,
story,
and I like those type of things. I love the narrator, like I said on our previous things. I would give it like a 7. I knew you weren't gonna like it. Until Dawn has like a 9 for me for reference from this company, but I gave it like a 7. Because one, it was so short. I didn't feel really like anything with the characters, and I also killed all the characters I wanted to save, and I kept.
Well, that's the thing. Like, if you're gonna give me the option to potentially, like, the character's gonna die, I'm probably gonna roll with it at some point. Like, I start to get like
the 2 that I wanted to die lived, and I was like, when was my opportunity to kill them? I would just let them die, and then I killed the ones that I wanted to save.
Yeah, they make it so you're supposed to play it multiple times through. But with how slow some of the dialogue is, and when you finally get to move your character, how slow that goes.
Yeah.
No, I'm not playing it again. Well, I wouldn't play it twice.
I personally like the Telltale stories, and which I need to finish the Walking Dead ones, and they're not your speed, they're my speed. I like playing them, so I personally liked Man of Medan. I just didn't love it.
My man, Chris Kattan.
The other game coming out for it though looks good.
What other one?
The other
Dark Pictures one?
Yeah.
I forget what it is.
I forgot what it's called.
It looked alright, though. I think we watched the trailer for it. That was...
Little Hope.
Yep.
And it's, like, very cultish, very, like, religious.
I think they rated it already. I think it got a pretty decent rating.
Well, if it's from IGN, we don't listen because they're never Right.
Yeah, IGN has been really garbage lately on a lot of reviews. But also they clearly are getting paid for certain things because there's a lot of drama going out with certain games right now and certain companies, and they refuse to talk any of it. You know, like they'll only, because they're going to hold out and be like, please give us that exclusive trailer so we don't lose views to people on YouTube. You know what I mean? Like IGN and them, they're going to kiss ass to these companies until they get their exclusives, you know?
I want to see if they have a review. I'm not seeing it unless somebody else did it, but it comes out this summer, so.
All right, well, we'll definitely, we'll look into it anyway. I mean, I don't know if I'll play it, but maybe I'll try it with you for a little bit. But that pretty much is everything for today. I mean, that goes over everything. We don't have any new games yet, but as soon as they come out, we'll play them. And then we'll have a couple more Stargirl episodes to review also. We're not sure what other shows we're going to get into yet. If you have any ideas, definitely let us know.
Yeah, if you have any shows, movies, anything that you really like right now, please let us know. Because we're running out of stuff.
Well, we're not sure because there's so many apps. We're not sure which one to sit down and grab all our wish list stuff for yet.
Well, there's not a lot that's coming out other than shows that are pre-done. Like not all our movies are coming out.
And I'm still waiting for an update on New Mutants. If we're gonna get it to VOD or if it's gonna have to go to theater.
I saw a picture and it was a picture of them all aged to old people and it was like I think it said like when the movie finally comes out or it's like
God, of course. Yeah,
and it was just all of that and that's how I feel about this fucking movie. It's never gonna come out, which is sad. I guess.
It's absolutely sad. But you know, speaking of the New Mutants, so we don't turn out like the New Mutants with the way things are going on YouTube and everything. Give us a like and a share and a follow. Tell people about this and talk to us a little bit about what you guys are into. That way we can get a decent amount of feedback. It's been really hard for us to get people to see what's been going on the feed. And to kind of communicate with them, and I'm trying to figure out some kind of way that we can get more in touch with people.
I'm laughing because you said, speaking of New Mutants, and I was like, you were like, I didn't get the segue.
Basically, so we don't end up turning like the New Mutants
Yeah, I
movie.
get what you're saying.
Give us a like and a follow.
I thought you meant like actual mutants, and I was like, what? I sat there for a minute about that. But yes, definitely if you're on YouTube, make sure you like, subscribe, all that jazz. The best way to help us, though, is if you see us like sharing it on Twitter, just retweet it.
Yeah.
Let everybody know. Share it yourself. Say that it's something you like on your Facebook page, whatever it may be. Aside from that, we're over on Instagram for Pod for the Recently Released. You can follow us on there. Both of our regular social media accounts are linked on there. You can also check us out on our website. Really easy. Podcast for the Recently Released. It gives you all the different ways to listen to us. Obviously, we're here on YouTube. Hi. What's up? We're here. But we're also available on Stitcher, I think. I don't know if I got the word
Stitchler.
yet. Google Play, SoundCloud, Spotify, Apple Podcast, all that jazz. So you can find us really easy on there. If you are lurking.
If you're lurking in the shadows, let us know.
If you're looking for podcasts for the recently released merchandise, you can go over to jobotshop.com. There's some t-shirts along with tons of other merch. And,
we're always doing other merchandise right now.
You have face masks that you're doing?
Yeah, I got face mask, so if you're trying to avoid that Rona, you let me know. We got face masks, we got keychains.
A lot of cool stuff. And then my web store, which is lewisstardust.com, has a lot of new stuff as well. So make sure you check those out if you want to support us at this time. Again, the best way to support us is to do it for free, too. You can also do that. You can just share us everywhere. Give us reviews on Apple Podcasts. Let people know you like us. And, yeah, we appreciate this.
Or, even better, share us if you like us. Share us if you hate us, too. And then talk shit, because we like that, too.
Yeah. There you go. That's all the ways you can do it.
That'll get us sparking some good debate. We'll have a good time.
There we go.
But stay safe in there, guys.
We'll see you next week.
Thanks for listening to yet another episode of Podcast for the Recently Released. If you want to peep some of our older episodes, we've got a ton of them. Just check us out on podcastfortherecentlyreleased.com. We've got merch, older episodes, links for other ways to listen to us, and more. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, all that jazz. Don't let your meatloaf. Stay safe out there, guys.